Hello everyone, welcome back. This is part 2 of our look at Pocket Toys Ruiner B box set, which is their take on the Combaticons and Bruticus. Part 1 we looked at Brawl. Today we have Swindle here in his alt mode, and he's not a khaki Jeep, but a khaki Hummer style vehicle. Take a look, he's got some nice detail and paint applications on him. The top section here is not in the correct transformation, but this is how it was originally packaged. And this kind of gives it an open top look like the original G1 Jeep did. But if you want to get it in its intended transformation, you want to take this black rack section off. It's pegged in here. So we can pull this apart. And then these two sections here are going to flip out. And this is going to form the roof. The instructions want you to fold these pieces down now and then plug this back in, but there's no connecting point here. So what happens is if you put these down and then try to plug it in, it ends up pushing it down in the middle and it starts unpegging everything back here and on the sides. So what I recommend doing now is we're going to take this section and we're going to plug it in, and that's going to help give us some structure, just like that. Take the side windows, just pull them back a bit so you can bring the roof down, and these large tabs here are just going to go into these slots right here. So just hold with your other hand the roof here and then push it all into place, and on the other side have it looking nice just like that. For Swindle's weaponry, bring in the big blaster. Grab this front section here, which is actually two separate pieces, so pull them apart. We have one of Swindle's pistols. We have a larger piece here. To store them, you can put them either up top on these ports or on the side. Officially, they're meant to go up front like this. This one will get fingernail, this little tab. Pull that down like that. Plug it in on the other side. It likes to fold back up on you sometimes. So there we have Swindle all armed up in his alt mode. And here's a look at how the Pocket Toys version compares to the original G1 toy. Well, they have the same basic color scheme. And the original one's a Jeep. This one's styled more after like a Hummer type vehicle. Seems to be pretty common for a lot of the more modern versions of Swindle. But still looks pretty good. You get the gist. They both look like Swindle. I don't really prefer either design more. The original G1 figure was a Jeep, so it'd be more accurate. This one should be a Jeep, but I don't have any complaints with this style as well. I think they're both good interpretations of the character's alt mode. To get Swindle into his robot mode, what we'll do here is these side windows. I'm going to unpeg and fold down like that. Take this section and unpeg it. Come on, there we go. Put that off to the side. Take these sections, fold them in. Like that. Front windshield, just push that down like so. Back section, we're going to rotate this down and around like that. This is the foot. So we're going to take that, bring that out, and sitting like this. Rotate the toes around. So you have a leg looking like that. So on the other side, rotate this around, bring the foot down, rotate the toes around like that. Now, when I first transformed mine, these toes, no matter what I did, they did not want to stay straight like this. They would either move themselves into that position or that position. It seemed every time I moved it like that, it would just pop into either side. So these are just on mushroom pegs. So what I did is I just popped this out. So kind of carefully, if you're going to do that, you don't want to snap it, just kind of put even pressure and just pop it out like that. And what I found on mine was the molding for the mushroom peg here, it was off slightly. So instead of being lined up like this, it was like that a little bit. So there was pieces of plastic that were just kind of hitting the housing in here and preventing it from sitting in the right spot. So what I did is I just took some sandpaper and I just sanded a bit so that everything was smooth, and now everything turns just fine and sits where it is. So if you're having that problem, you might need to do a little bit of sand work there. Okay, next up, we can take these side panels, move them all the way down. Take the front section here, and it's going to flip back like that. I just pop it back. Mine was initially very tight, but it will hinge all the way back. So you have it sitting like that. For the arms, we're going to untab it there and bring it up so it's sitting like that. You can see the hand is right there. So you're just going to flip the hand down like that. Same thing on the other side. Unpeg it from his hip. Bring the arm up. Flip the forearm and hand down. Just like that. And then the last thing to do is we're going to take the chest and bring it forward. That's going to expose Swindle's head. So we're just going to get his head all the way up like that and bring this back into place. So there we have Swindle in his robot mode. And he's a really good representation, I think, of his G1 look. And he's very sturdy too, especially compared to Brawl, who's very floppy. Everything is really nice and tight on Swindle. Take a closer look, see if we can get this on camera. He's got a nice smile there. For movement wise, he can move his head around. He's got more movement than Brawl, but he has kind of like the same problem. There's some plastic edges here that just prevent him from turning all the way around. Ball joints on the arms, so you can move around. Eventually you get some interference here from the backpack, but you can position the arm so you can move it where you need to. Arms move in and out. Because of this hinge here, you can have a shoulder shrug. Rotation here at the elbow. And you have that much of an elbow bend. And I've got a mushroom peg here for the wrist, so you can rotate the hands around. As far as the waist goes, it can rotate. You have ball joints at the legs. So yeah, the legs move out this far, back that far. Bring the legs out to the side like that. A little bit of movement here right at the hip. Separate mushroom peg at the thigh for full thigh rotation. You have a full bend at the knee because of the transformation there. As far as the feet go, they can have the ankle will pivot out that far. Can have some up and down movement, and then there's this whole piece here that can rock out if you need that to move. Now for his weapons, so again, you can have him hold his blaster like this. If you want to, you can have him hold the other weapon via this peg just like that. So you can have Swindle all armed up in his robot mode. And before I forget, this piece here, there's nowhere to store it. It does have the posts here, so you could, plug it into the leg. You could have him hold it in his hand, sort of off-centered double blaster if you wanted to. But officially, there's nowhere to store this, so you just leave it off to the side if you want. And here's Swindle next to his G1 counterpart. You can see this one captures the essence of the original. Just gave it a nice glow up like Brawl. And it's a really good rendition of the G1 robot mode, in my opinion. To get Swindle back into his alt mode, I'm gonna take the head, fold it forward, and then bring it back like that. Fold the chest piece in, come over to the arms. We're going to take the forearm pieces and fold them over like that. And then this tab here is going to go into this slot on Swindle's hip. Plug that in. Same thing on the other side. Fold this back. Bring it down and tab it in. Come here, take the front section, just bring it down. And there's two pegs here that will go into these two holes on the top of Swindle's chest. This will plug into place. For the legs, we're going to rotate the toes around. If you have the side windows fall off like mine just did, there's a post right there, and it just goes into this slot right here. So don't worry too much if that comes off. It'll just go right back in. So after you have the toes rotated around, you can grab the feet and bring them up so they sit on top of here, just like that. Same thing on this side. Now for the legs, you have on this leg 1, 2, 3 tabs. Now go into these 3 slots here to hold the legs together. They're not really very snug, so they come apart very easily. So you'll probably have to put them back together a couple of times while you're moving this guy around. Rotate this whole section so it's sitting like that. Take the windshield and get it flipped up like that. Now you can either, if you want it open topped like his G1 Jeep, you can leave these pieces here. But officially, to complete the look, you're going to want to flip these out. If you have trouble with them, they get stuck, you can just grab one of his blasters to help to help get that up for you. And again, what I like to do is I like to bring in this top rack piece now. Take these posts to plug into here, because this will help you get the roof pegged in properly. Otherwise, it's gonna push in the center, because the center part of the roof doesn't tab together. So pushing on it tends to untab everything. So get that into place. Bring the side windows up, and this flat section here is going to go into that slot / groove right there. There's also a tiny tab here on the front windshield that will go into this little slot right there. So hold on to this and push everything into place like that. Same thing on the other side. Bring this up, hold on to this, squeeze it together all nice and tight. And there you have Swindle back in his alt mode. To get Swindle into his combined mode, like Brawl, there's not much we have to do. What I do is going to take the hood, just going to pop it up. And that's to help reveal the combiner port and have some clearance. I'm not going to flip this up now. The combiner ports are really tight, and I had a heck of a time when I was playing around with this to try to get this back into its home position. I actually stressed the plastic a little bit. So when we get to Bruticus, I'll bring this up, get everything all combined up properly. But basically, you just want it like that. Similar to Brawl, you have these two tabs on the bottom and this slot here. That's going to take the other foot. So since we're turning him into a right leg, we're going to take this one. So make sure you got the right one. The wheels are going to be facing inwards, and you have these two tabs will be facing outwards. So we're going to take this black piece here, and we're just going to, there's a hinge back here. We're going to hinge that back like this. So those two slots here, we'll take the tabs on the bottom of Swindle, and this long tab here will go into the slot on the underside of Swindle. So I'll get that lined up, plug in the bottom, and get that slot on the underside. And there you have Swindle formed up as a leg for Bruticus. Some final thoughts on Swindle. Design-wise, both the alt mode and the robot mode look really good. The only thing I don't like as far as his design goes is when going into alt mode, the whole roof section is too loose and it tends to collapse on you when you're trying to put it together, which is a little annoying. Other than that, I think his design is good. Transformation, simple, more complicated than the G1 toy, but you have anything that does not look like a brick in robot mode is going to be more complicated to transform, but it's not too bad. Playability wise, my copy of Swindle, all the joints are nice and tight, so he'll hold his pose, unlike my copy of Brawl, who has those weak knees. Swindle doesn't have that problem. Comes with a couple of weapons, and you have your choice of holding them. You can put him down his legs, and you have different spots to put him on alt mode as well. And as far as durability, the only thing I'm really worried about breaking on him is that combiner peg, because it's so tight. Trying to move it up or down, you could stress the plastic there, potentially break it. I also see there might be some frustration, especially if there's a younger kid playing with this is when folding the arms in and out. This can, part of the forearm can catch on the shoulder area, and if whoever's playing with this does not have a lot of patience, it may end up trying to rip something apart. But other than that, it's a pretty solid figure. I like it. Him and Brawl both work well together and look good as a team. So that's all I have to say about Swindle. I'll be going through Blast Off, Vortex, and Onslaught after this, and then we'll get the whole team combined up into Bruticus. Till then, thanks for watching. See you next time.